I hit the wrong button. I put
Okay,
the
I was
sounds
waiting for it
down
to
on
stop.
the. Well, because now there's two sound bars, one for the sound effects and the other one for the
Okay, a
music.
little
I kept
slow in
on.
uptake.
Yeah, yeah. All right, but welcome back to the Breaker Bros. And tonight we're gonna go over the 2025 Bengals schedule and try to predict their final record. Um, Finally, I guess the 2025 season. I'm not sure if you want to hit on Reisner before or after the prediction, but figure we could talk about that too because I feel
Yeah, we
like
just sprinkle it in.
yeah. I guess we can just go over the prediction first, and
Yeah, we'll probably end up talking about it anyways.
yeah. I guess getting into it, week one against Cleveland in Cleveland.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
we get
I
Joe
guess not to
Flacco.
get too much
Joe
into it.
Flacco 4.0.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's going to do all right starting out, but I can't see him having like long term success throughout the season. But first game, I'm sure we're going to get prime time Joe Flacco. He should be at his
Well
best.
rested.
Yeah, well rested. Um, but no, I think it really just comes down to being able to stop the run and not let what happened last year in Week 1 against the Patriots.
Question is, do you think Joseph Osai can catch him from behind? It's like not like Patrick Mahomes.
Are
I
you
feel
talking
like
about
our
Flacco?
defensive. Yeah, I think our defensive ends are like, okay, good. We'll feel like we could chase down Joe Flacco.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess it goes back to if we can stop the run. And I rewatched the game that we played the Browns last year. I guess the second game. I think it was in week 15 or 14, and they had like the first drive. They had that big run for like 40 yards. It kind of looked like the preseason where, um, like they weren't really closing up the gaps like they should have, and like the running back had like a 40-yard run. I think it was forward,
Mm-hmm.
and they get to like the goal line, and then and actually in the opening series, Bell knocks out the ball at the goal line, and they get a turnover, and then the Bengals go all the way down and score. But I mean, going back to that game, if you look at the most recent game, it seemed like outside of that first series, they did a pretty good, decent job slowing down the run, and it kind of forced the Browns to have to pass it. And if they can kind of do the same thing that they did last time, I feel like they should have a lot of success going into week one. Um, but with that said, I feel like year in and year out, it feels like we're like, oh yeah, I mean they should win, and for whatever reason, they tend to tank it early.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, Joe Burrow does look like the best he's ever have in the offseason going into the season. I think it's gonna mean a lot that he got those extra reps in preseason.
Yeah.
So I don't see the offense starting as slow as they did last year because it seemed like it took
Let's hope not.
like I feel like in week 2 he played pretty decent against the Chiefs, but then it didn't seem like until like week 4 or 5 did he really get into the rhythm or just the offense in general. But it's not going to be the offense. I feel like it's going to be holding the Bengals back. It's obviously going to be the defense, but I don't know. I feel like this one, in theory, it should be. I shouldn't say easy win, but the Bengals should win this game. But I also have a
Okay.
feeling it's going to be week 1. It's probably going to be a little bit uglier than what we expect. I feel like the defense is probably going to play better than what they've seen in the preseason, and then I kind of feel like the opposite for the offense. They're probably not going to look as sharp as what they did in the preseason because you have to play 4 quarters now. However, I do think the Bengals are going to win. So I week 1, Bengals win against the Browns. I don't care how they do it, but I just hope they win. I don't know if it's going to be by 1 point or by 14 points. I just hope they win and they can finally start the season off hot, and hopefully that'll translate going into the
1-0.
playoffs. Huh?
I said a hot 1-0.
Hot 1-0. We need it.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like I don't know. I guess there's aspects of the schedule where it seems kind of brutal, but then we get Jacksonville second week at home. I believe that's also their opening in orange, so I think they should be wearing the orange jerseys that week 2. But against Jacksonville, I don't know. I feel like Jacksonville is still a pretty young team. Because they drafted Travis Hunter, right? So,
Yep.
outside of that, I mean, I don't know. Again, it feels like one of those games where the Bengals should win, but they also have issues starting off kind of slow. But I don't know. I feel like compared to other years, I think there definitely is a focus in making sure they start off hot. So I'm going to go with the 2 wins starting off the year, 2-0. One against the Browns, one against the Jaguars. And I guess that puts us in week 3 against Minnesota. Which I heard, I think one of their starting receivers is suspended for the first 3 games. Can't think of his name right now. Addison, yep. Which I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference because I think they picked up Thielen. I can't remember if they traded for him or if they just picked him off waivers, but I think he'll fill in nicely until Addison gets back in. And of course, Jefferson, we're going to have a somewhat explosive offense at the very least with Jefferson, but I don't know. I feel like this game is going to be a little bit more difficult. I mean, I don't think Minnesota is a bad team by any means, but I think they're very similar to the Bengals, where I think they have things to prove.
Yeah, but I mean, they're starting J.J. McCarthy, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how good of a player he is in the NFL.
Yeah, I guess the only thing it is going to be in Minnesota, so I'm sure that's going to have some of effect because I feel like Minnesota, as far as their fans, I think they can make a difference. Well, I don't know. I feel like for the most part, Vikings fans are probably pretty enthusiastic. It's not going to be like I would say going to Cleveland. And I would even say Cleveland. I'm sure Cleveland fans are pretty enthusiastic, so that's probably not a good example. I'm trying to think of a team.
Well, it's a dome, though, so they do have that advantage.
That and I don't know. I always feel like they have a decent defense, the Vikings, and I feel like I don't know. They could probably give some challenges to the Bengals offense in terms of how they scheme it up. But
okay,
I'm actually gonna go with the loss. Even though I feel like they should win.
Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I don't think that's going to be a challenging game for the Bengals. I feel like they'll go up there and handle business. But I'm not doing predictions.
In theory, I mean that's how I felt like the last 3 or 4 years.
2-1 after week 3.
Yeah. Which brings us to the Monday night game, week 4, and it's going to be in Denver, so back-to-back road games.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Monday night, so I feel like, and they're just coming off of a loss, according to my prediction. So I think it's gonna, rile them up even more. And I feel like we have a team, especially with the Joe Burrow era, where they do like to perform under prime time. So I feel like they're going to want to follow this up, and especially how they ended the season against Denver. I'm going to go with a win on this one in week 4, Monday night. Just because I feel like you're gonna have a little extra juice. So what is that? 3-1?
3-1. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can agree with 3-1.
And then week 5 against Denver at home. It looks like it's an afternoon game, which is kind of interesting. I don't feel like
who are playing week 5?
Detroit.
Okay, I thought you said Denver.
I did say Denver, but I was thinking Detroit. Yeah, I don't feel like we played that many like home games at I guess it'd be 4 your time. So it's technically like a national game because I feel like there's only 3 or 4 games that are played at 4 on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like I hope they go undefeated at home. I feel like that's always like a good thing to play for, is to try to go undefeated in the division and then hopefully go undefeated at home, because that should put you in a pretty good position at the end of the season. But it's Detroit, and I know they got a pretty good range of pass rushers and a pretty good, defensive line in general. And I don't know. I feel like they're going to give us problems. So I'm going to give us a loss on that one, even though it's at home against Detroit. I guess that would make it 3-2, right?
Yep, I got 3-2.
Okay, so week 6 in Green Bay. Another afternoon game. Plus, they have Micah Parsons now. Kind of funny to think about.
Yeah, they should block him this time.
Yeah, no, yeah. Parsons gave his problems. I feel like the last couple times they played Dallas. Okay, but yeah. I feel like we're gonna win this one in Green Bay, just because we're coming off a loss, and I think they're gonna try to go throughout the whole season without having a losing streak.
Okay.
They're gonna, whenever they get smacked in the face, they're gonna respond. So I'm gonna have them bounce back and beat Green Bay in Green Bay, bringing the record to 4-2.
Okay. So first 6 games, there's only one divisional game.
Yeah, one divisional game, and it looks like 3 NFC games, which is interesting.
Yeah. So they must be playing the NFC North then. Must be like our partner division then, because the first place team, right?
Yeah, one way or another. Yeah, it's how the schedule works. It's like you play the full division, like every team,
one division,
and then the other one you play the one that finishes the same standings.
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, we must be playing the. Is that NFC North? I think. Detroit. Yeah, it's got to be NFC North. Detroit.
Yeah.
Green
Detroit,
Bay.
Minnesota, Green Bay.
Yeah. Chicago.
Chicago.
Okay. Finally. Another divisional game. Second one of the year. Week 7 against Pittsburgh at home. Thursday night game.
Oh, wow. Thursday night game.
Yeah, they have 2 Thursday night games, actually. Second one, I think, is on Thanksgiving in Baltimore, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Pittsburgh, going in, I think halfway through the offseason, I was like, oh, yeah, Pittsburgh's definitely trying to tank. Doesn't seem like they're trying to do anything. But then it seemed like they did like a flurry of moves to suggest that they are trying to actually do something this year. But I don't know. I think they did make some solid moves, and they drafted some decent players or some good prospects for what they're trying to do. I just don't know if Aaron Rodgers can really, play a full season in the AFC North. I feel like he probably picked the worst division to try to play in in the AFC North with all the great pass rushers they have.
Yeah.
So I just don't, and I don't think the Steelers' offensive line is that great either. So I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to get
they're improved over what they used to be. I mean, I think 5 years ago, 3 to 5 years ago, their offensive line wasn't very good, but I think they've improved.
Yeah, I mean, I think towards the end of Ben Roethlisberger, whatever offensive line he had towards the end was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I think they definitely tried to do a few things, but I just don't think it's good to have like an aging Aaron Rodgers, which I think he can still throw the ball pretty decent. It's just I don't think he's as mobile.
How's that different than old Joe Flacco week 1? Same thing, right?
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. It was primetime Joe Flacco because it's week 1. Yeah. I think he's going to be in the same boat with Aaron Rodgers by week 7.
Week 7, Rodgers and Flacco are going to be hurting.
I think so. Yeah. I think.
Okay.
I mean, that's my gut, but you never know if they can figure out a way to keep him up and give him a little bit more protection. I could kind of see what they're doing, but I'm going to go with my gut. I think we're going to go in and um, well, it's at home, but I think they're going to beat the Steelers, which would make us 5-2.
Hmm. Yeah,
And actually,
I always like home games on Thursday night. I feel like that's a used to be a much bigger advantage, but I feel like it's still an advantage.
yeah, yeah, and I would like to see. I'm assuming maybe Pittsburgh the week before is probably playing at home. But say if they do have an away game and it's kind of far away, it would definitely be an advantage for the Bengals because it's like,
Yeah, I think they try to give them home games before Thursday, but I remember I feel like last year the Bengals had like an away game before an away Thursday night.
okay, week 8 against the Jets. And, oh crap, computer just went to sleep. All
Oh, okay. I think they
right,
got Justin Fields now as their quarterback in the Jets.
they do.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Unless he has was it Mike White beat the Bengals? Unless he has like a Mike White moment where he has his best game of his career against the Bengals, I feel like.
I mean, they
I
have.
really don't know what the Jets are doing with their team.
I mean, they have some decent pieces because I know they just extended uh the receiver. I can't think of his name.
Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, Garrett Wilson. They extended him. They got Brees Hall. They got another decent running back behind him. They got pieces, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel like with Fields, unless they change their whole offensive game plan, which they may have since Rodgers. Um, I don't know. I feel pretty confident that the Bengals are going to win against
Mm-hmm.
the Jets. However, going into the following week, I don't know. The Bengals should beat the Bears, but I'm going to say this is going to be their blunder. I
Okay.
have them losing against the Bears.
Interesting.
Sorry, I'm still trying to get my computer to turn on. I'm not sure why.
Hmm.
Oh, there it goes. So I know it was Jets to the Bears. I don't know after the Bears, but hold on. Okay, now I'm back. Oh, okay, it's a
Okay.
bye week, but then it's the Steelers again. Yeah, yeah. I would say going into the bye, especially losing against the Bears, especially thinking you probably should have a 3 or 4 game win streak. I think the Bengals are going to come out of the bye, even in Pittsburgh. I think they're going to sweep the Pittsburgh Steelers this year.
Yeah.
So that brings them, I think, to 7-3. I think right now.
Okay. So then they're going against the Patriots next at home.
Yeah, yeah, and then they're going to get the revenge game,
Rematch.
the rematch. Yeah, the infamous blunder that they had the first in week 1 of last year. So I think they're going to get the revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that they're really going to think of it like that, but I think by this point, this is going to be the hot point of the year for them. So I can see them beating New England week 12 at home, making it 8-3. Going into Baltimore, I think, yeah, this is going to be the Thanksgiving game
Yeah.
in Baltimore. I'm going to give Baltimore the advantage on this one because it's a home game.
Yeah.
It's
That's a
Thursday
tough
night.
game.
Yeah. Especially playing the tough New England Patriots Sunday before. So I know they're going to be worn out. So,
So you get your mini bye before you play against the Bills on December 7th.
yeah. Yeah. And I think they're going to come out ready to go. Not to say that they have the Bills number, but they kind of do in a weird way with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, the schedule says it's a 3:20.
Yeah,
Midnight on
and
Central
that
Time.
for sure is going to say the same because I think that's one of the network games, or I think that's the protected game for Fox for that
Gotcha.
week. So it's definitely going to stay at 3:25 or 4:25 at your time. But
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say the Bengals beat them. So I'm gonna go 9-4.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a fun game. Not sure if you saw that the Bills came out with their alternate uniform. I think it's like the rivals. There was like 8 teams
Mm-hmm.
the NFL, I guess, created special jerseys with, and I guess the pattern or like the design has something to do with the city or whatnot. It has some type of symbolism, but I thought it was funny or maybe kind of ironic that I'm not sure if you saw the jersey, but it's like a snow theme, so it's like white. I mean, it looks nice, but I find it kind of ironic because it felt like when the Bengals went into Buffalo that one year during the playoffs and they won, and it
Yeah.
snowed, and they happened to be wearing the white jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bills kind of complained about it, so I thought it was just kind of funny that they came out with jerseys that literally look like snow.
Oh, I gotcha. Snow camouflage.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, and I guess this is another weird part about the schedule because it's like we
Yeah.
play Baltimore on Thursday and then go to Buffalo and then
Mm-hmm.
play Baltimore again at home. So we play Baltimore twice within 10 days. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But we're at home and I think we're going to split with them. So I think the Bengals take the second game against Baltimore, putting them at 10-4.
Okay. So 3 more games.
Yep. And then I think at Miami, interesting. Oh, and it's a Sunday night game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they
Yeah.
match up well against Miami, though.
Yeah, Miami's an interesting team because they were like a team that was very much ascendant, but as of late, they just don't seem as good, you know?
Yeah, I feel like they're built very similar to the Bengals, actually. Except, I think
Except not.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you look at their offense, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they
it's
have
like
good receivers.
well, explosive receivers, right? And then
Yeah.
they have was it A Chain or
Yeah.
A Chain? I always
Yeah.
say his
They
name
don't
wrong.
have the same depth that they had at running back.
No, no,
They
and
actually have our guy, Ollie Gordon.
yeah, and actually, I heard he's making a name for himself. He's made some noise in the preseason, and I heard he's going to get some pretty good touches early on in the season because I think someone else
Yeah,
is
it'd
hurt.
be interesting because, like, I always liked him in college, but he didn't run well. So it doesn't seem to match with what, like, Miami the past few seasons has had, like, really fast running backs. So Ollie Gordon doesn't really fit. Like, A-Chain's, like, you know, a burner, right? And
Mm.
I mean, unless maybe he just didn't run well in the combine, and maybe he's like actually faster. Who knows? But I don't know. To me, I feel like Miami's kind of a team that's kind of on the downturn.
Yeah, I kind of feel similar.
So,
So yeah,
but you said we match up well. So what does that mean?
I think we win. I think we beat
Okay.
Miami in Miami on Sunday night,
Uh huh.
bringing us to 11-5.
Okay.
Going into the Arizona game, I guess that's
Wait.
at home.
It can't be 11-5, right? Because there's two.
Oh, sorry,
more games.
11-4. I give myself a win and a loss. Sorry, 11-4.
Okay.
Foreshadowing. Sorry.
No, not another loss.
No. I think we'll
Okay.
beat Arizona. So I think we'll go. Was that
I
make
hope
it
so.
12-4? But I also think we're going to lose against Cleveland against the last week, partly because I
think?
think yeah, because I mean, if we're really going to be
Won't
12-4
Cleveland
at
be
that
playing
point,
for Arch Manning at that point?
ooh, if I don't know, I mean, based off
Well,
how
I
Arch
mean,
Manning
after
played this
week
past
one,
Sunday, I
maybe
don't
not
think
Arch
anyone's going to be
Manning,
playing for him.
maybe like Sellers or
The dude from
you know, that one guy at LSU.
I thought the quarterback for Penn State's supposed to be good.
TJ, who's your mama?
That guy. Maybe, but anyways, I mean, I've been saying it for a while, but I feel like the Browns they're playing for next year's top draft pick. Just the way they put their team together doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Some of the stuff they're doing, it's just weird stuff's happening. Like Quinshawn Judkins is not signed. You know, I know like the Bengals got a lot of negative press for not signing
Sorry, I
players.
missed this. Drew likes your background, Eric.
Oh yeah, it looks good. I'm making myself at home.
Who's that poster of? Is that AJ Green? 18?
Uh,
It's
yeah,
got to be AJ Green, yeah.
yeah, it's AJ Green.
Yeah, 12-5, give or take. I think
12-5 is 12-5 enough to get a 1 seed?
probably not a 1 seed, but I think it's enough to win the division.
Okay, who do you think gets the 1 seed then?
Ooh. I guess it would either have to be the Chiefs, Bills, or possibly. I mean, Baltimore. It's going to be, I think, those four teams: Bengals, Baltimore,
Well, we can't
Bills,
win the we
Chiefs.
can't simultaneously win the division, but then also have Baltimore get the 1 seed, right? Is that possible?
Well, no. I'm just saying who's going to be playing for the number 1 seed.
Gotcha. It's interesting that we don't play the Chiefs this year, right? It's been a long time since the Bengals haven't played the Chiefs. Do the Chiefs
Not.
play Buffalo?
I think they do. I think the Chiefs play Buffalo and Baltimore.
Well, I don't like that. Are the NFL scriptwriters writing us out?
Well, no, because I think it has a lot to do with where you finish in the division, and I think I don't know. It was weird like that. It did seem like the Bengals were playing the Chiefs.
I'm looking. Yeah, Bills play the Chiefs on November 2nd.
Yeah, and I know the first game with the Bills is with the Ravens. Week 1 is Bills Ravens. That should be a pretty big game.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at the schedule, looks like the scriptwriters for the NFL have big plans for the Bills.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
There's a guy against the Chiefs. I agree. I think the Ravens are going to be good this year. I think the Bengals are going to be good this year, so be interesting. Maybe the Bills are the 1 seed. I don't know.
it's tough to say because they have probably the hardest schedule, right?
Yeah,
But
that
then,
and I don't know who Josh Allen's going to throw the ball to.
yeah, I think that would be the key is that they don't really have like the playmakers that some of the other better teams in the conference have.
Yeah,
They don't really have that deep threat, I don't think.
yeah. I
Or
don't
that
know much
consistent deep
about
threat.
Shakir, but I don't think Josh Palmer's that. You know, I mean, I'm sure he's a good player, but he doesn't seem like he's like a big play kind of guy. So
I mean, that's what I wonder about the Bills or even the Ravens is that, I think they put a lot of pressure on Allen and and Lamar to like make plays or to extend plays to make plays. And I feel like you can only do that for so long before it starts catching up again. Now, to their credit, I mean, they've done it pretty well the last couple of seasons, but I don't know. The NFL is they tend to figure things out after a while. So I
yeah,
think
but I mean, like at least with the Ravens, they've got like, Derrick Henry is like an elite dude. Mark Andrews, even though his season didn't end well, I mean, he's a good tight end. And then, maybe Zay Flowers is going to be good this year. I don't know. But, like, at least you've got, like, some other playmakers, right? Like, you could turn around and hand it to Derrick Henry and expect him to break one off for, like, a touchdown, right? Like an 80-yard touchdown. It's not unexpected. Whereas Cook, I feel like he's good. But I don't know that he can, like, carry an offense. Whereas, like, Derrick Henry has carried offenses before all by himself. So,
yeah, because the thing I'll say about the Ravens, or at least something I've noticed, is that, and I don't know like how good their offensive coordinator is. Like, I mean, obviously he's pretty good since he's joined the Ravens because since he's joined the Ravens, Lamar's Jackson, his game has elevated. But I don't know. It feels like he was able to scheme up things a lot, and it felt like a lot of their big plays that they had was just because like the receiver or whoever Lamar was throwing it to was just wide open. It was just like, what happened? But I think part of it is like, to their credit, they're so afraid of, Lamar or even uh you just said his name. Sorry, they're running back, running the ball. That
Mr. Samir Naga.
But yeah, no, I don't know. It just seemed like some of like their plays in their highlights is just like the receiver was so open. I just can't believe like how that happened. But I guess part of it is when you run the ball so well,
Yeah.
And you catch the defense off guard, they're going to be that open because at some point
if you can do play action, right?
Yeah, play action can make a big difference, especially if you have Derrick Henry and really all their running backs is pretty good.
Right? Like you think about it, it's like obviously somebody's gonna have to, because everybody expects Josh Allen to have like a big year this year, so somebody's gonna be like a big receiver, right?
Well, again, I think more so on Josh Allen's side is that I feel like he has to play hero ball, like he kind of reverts into kind of like a running
that's
back.
What I'm saying though, if you play hero ball, you got to hero ball it to someone if you're throwing it, right? Who's that someone going to be this year for the Bills?
Well, no, because I think half the time he just takes the ball, tucks it, and runs it for 10 or 15 yards is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not going to run for like 2,000 yards. He's got to throw it for 3,000-4,000 yards, right?
No, I don't know. That's just what I noticed when I watched the Bills play was that a lot of times when it came to crunch time, instead of throwing the ball, he just tucked it and ran it for 15 yards. And I'm just thinking
but I mean,
what is it with the NFL and just not like blitzing him? Like if you know he's probably just gonna run, just blitz him. Like at least frazzle him at something. Well, he's fast and big. I get that, but I'm just saying. But they play so like they try to do a little bit of both, right? They try to like drop back a little bit, and then it's like, okay, well then if you let him get a head of steam or whatever, it's going to be a lot tougher to tackle him. So you might as well just be aggressive and just get him down right away.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because they used to have Stephon Diggs, right? So he was a guy that could take the top off the defense. So you're kind of reluctant to blitz because you know that he could beat man-to-man coverage.
That's why I'm kind of surprised that the league doesn't blitz Lamar Jackson as much, because that used to be a thing
because he's like one of those guys where it's like you don't want your defensive ends to get further away from the end zone than Lamar Jackson, because if you do that, then he just runs past everybody. So being like fast and a good running quarterback negates a little pass rush, because teams don't want to get too aggressive, because if guys get too aggressive trying to go around the edge, they get deep and then he just takes off and runs and there's nobody to slow him down.
Yeah, see, I think they got it wrong. It's like you let him run. Like, who cares? Let him run for like almost 200 yards. Like, it's going to catch up to him. Like you get him to the point.
Division opponent, right? Like, you're playing the long game, but like, I don't know that you can do that if you're in the playoffs, or if
like I said, they get skittish and they get like they're too in between everything, and it's not just like a full on blitz or they're just going to straight on cover. They try to play both, and I think that's where they get caught.
Some of it too, though, is that you don't play enough against someone, right? So like, if you're in the division, you play twice a year, every year, you kind of develop like little nuanced things that you can do. But then when you're playing them once and you're watching film, you don't pick up on the nuance, right? You just kind of see like the big things that are going on. So you try to copy what someone else is doing, but maybe you're not, maybe there are tells that like maybe the Bengals and the Steelers know about how to deal with Lamar Jackson, where if you're like, I don't know, say like you're the Bills, that might be a bad example, but say you're like Tampa Bay and you play the Bills like once every 6-7 years, right? You watch the film and you kind of see what the Bengals are doing, but maybe there are like little, tricks that they do. so that you're trying to mimic it, but you're not really doing it the right way. And I don't know. The other thing is he's just really good. I mean, that's what happens when the other team has like elite players. I mean, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, no, the play I think of too a lot last year is when it was one of the games against the Ravens, and Hubbard is like chasing Lamar towards the sideline. And he like lunges at him, and then somehow gets stiff arm, and then like Lamar just kind of like shrugs him off and throws a touchdown. And it's just like,
well, it's because like Lamar Jackson weighs like 200 pounds and is fast. And you're like a 270-pound dude chasing him around for 50 yards. You get tired, and then and he's strong, right? So like you're off balance, you're trying to grab him, and he just shoves you out of the way. I mean, that's
that's more of to the credit of Lamar Jackson, because I think on that specific play, I don't think anyone else could have done what he did.
Sam Hubbard is, if he didn't have to chase him for the 30 yards before that,
yeah,
he probably could have got him. Right?
Well, and it goes back to my point. It's just like that's why you just gotta like at least rush 5 people, like you got to come at him at all angles. And then, because like I feel like if you get him frantic enough, he's gonna basically throw the defense the ball. Like, but if you just, I don't know, on that particular play, it was like they were trying to contain, I think. And so like he had a little bit of time, and then that's what I'm saying. But it's just like you got to contain and attack. It's like you can't just like stay there.
And he stiff armed him, jumped out of the way, and threw a touchdown pass. What you could do?
Rush more people.
More people.
Yeah, they didn't rush. They try to contain.
Okay,
I'm like, that's so silly. Just like go after him.
But I mean, like, say what you will, he got home. He just couldn't tackle him.
Right. Because it's one-on-one. That's why you have to be. It's always got to be 2v1.
Space you can get them, but like open field, a defensive end versus Lamar Jackson, like Lamar Jackson's probably gonna win.
Right, and don't put your defensive end in that position. That's why you got to rush. You got to have 2 people on him at all times. Like it's got to be 2 versus 1. It can't be a one-on-one situation.
Yeah.
So if you have someone else coming on the other end and like making him force a decision rather than him like, I don't know, dancing in the backfield and creating more time, like.
Yeah, I mean, you're asking like 2 people to do something right when you got one guy that can like just erase things.
I don't know. That's why I'm interested to see how Al Golden does against the Ravens, because like I think he's known for blitzing more often.
I will say that I think that having someone who's been around the college game a lot is going to be helpful, because in college guys run a lot more than they do in the NFL, and there's a lot of weird schemes, and Notre Dame plays like all kinds of different offenses, so maybe he'll have like a new wrinkle that will help. But I mean, for games against the Ravens, the Bengals teams that have been successful against the Ravens have been teams that just outscore them, right? To me, you beat the Ravens by throwing it over the top. And if you can get them in a scoring, a game where you're trying to outscore each other, I feel like the Bengals can win those games.
Beat the Ravens.
If the Ravens can contain the Bengals offense a little bit and then run the ball, then that's the kind of game the Ravens win.
Well, no, you got to put the Ravens in a situation where they have to pass. Like they've always traditionally been a team that if they're down like 7 points or whatever in the fourth quarter, like they've always struggled to come back like when they have to pass, versus a situation where if they hold the lead and they're running the ball,
right, that's how they're built to play. So
they just wind everything down.
To me, it's all on the offense when you play the Ravens. You just gotta score touchdowns and get them to where they have to try to keep up with you. Because if you keep it within one possession, they'll just grind the Bengals down. That's how they're built.
Well, let's talk about Reisner.
Yeah. Tell me about Reisner.
Well, he signed with the Bengals. We weren't sure.
He's a professional NFL guard, right?
Yeah.
That's good. Is he going to start?
Yeah, I think the consensus is he's eventually going to start, but people don't know if it's going to be by week 1. I think
Hmm.
for sure by week 2. I think most people feel pretty confident about that.
Yeah.
And I think he'll probably start by week 1. Just like hearing him in the locker room and just because I think he had like a 5-minute interview after his first practice, and he said something that was interesting to me because he basically was like, "Yeah, that the other players have been here all training camp," and he's like, "It's my time to get in and let the people that are hurt rest a little bit." And I was like, I wonder what he means by that. Then I got to thinking, um, I think technically Lucas Patrick, I think he's hurt, and I think he was slated to be the starting right guard. So I think he was maybe hinting towards that. I think Lucas Patrick is dealing with some type of injury. So it may
Yeah, but
make
it's
more
like not a
sense.
serious injury, right? Because if he was gonna miss any time, wouldn't they have put him on like the some kind of injured list?
Yeah, but I mean, it's enough to where he's not like at 100%. Maybe he's
Yeah,
at like 85%, good enough to
but he's
like
still gonna
play.
play. Yeah.
But why not put the person in that's at 100%? Especially if it's like a Reisner where he's going to be an upgrade in the pass protection. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, if you got two guys, if you got a guy that's like a little hurt, but he thinks he can play, and he knows the system and everything, then you put him out there and hope he can hold up. And if he doesn't look like he can do it, then you take him out and put someone else in.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident Reisner is going to start. I mean, it makes the most sense if that's what you think your starting five is going to be. You might as well get him out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would trust him a little bit more than some of the other players, especially going against Cleveland. Because Cleveland's probably, especially if Reisner starts, they're probably going to try to key off on Fairchild. They're going to test the rookie. So I would get it. I would imagine they're going to line up Garrett over the guard and center
You
a lot.
think?
Yeah,
Does he play a lot inside?
Garrett lines up wherever.
Yeah.
I think more often in the outside because I mean that's where you can maximize his abilities. But
Yeah, I think
they'll
so.
put him in the inside, especially if
Like
if
certain
it's a.
downs and whatever.
I think Fairchild is going to hold his own, but it's Miles Garrett. If he plays a lot against Fairchild, he's eventually going to win at some point. No matter, I guess, who he plays against, really. But
Yeah, but I mean,
I think they're gonna the Bengals wherever they see Garrett. If he's on the left side of the line, they're going to go to the right. If they see him on the right side of the line, they're going to go to the left. I think it's just that simple when it comes to Garrett. If you really want to neutralize him, I think they'll do that for the first half, and then kind of get them on the back of their heels, and then make them think a little bit more about the second half and start doing other things and maybe attack him a little bit more. Or especially if he's on the left side of the line, Garrett, maybe just run straight at him.
I guess.
Well, I think
Maybe it'll work
Fairchild's a
him a
pretty
little
decent
bit.
run blocker.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a much better pass blocker than run blocker, if I remember right.
Yeah. But I think out of the guards, even versus Patrick or even Reisner, I don't because Reisner is really known as like a pass protector. Like he's
Yeah, I'm fine
like,
with that. I mean,
which is great because we pass 75% of the time, so it's
yeah,
perfect.
exactly. I mean, the Bengals want to drop back and throw it, so I mean, a lot of the guys they have, like even I think Jalen Rivers, right? Like he graded out as a guy that was a really good pass blocker, but a so-so run blocker. So yeah, I'm okay with that philosophy. I mean, it's all about keeping Joe Burrow healthy. And if you have to sacrifice in run blocking, then you have to. I mean, you need elite pass blockers, and they need a lot of them. So that's a good thing. I feel like like with Reisner, they really fixed the depth issue. So they have some depth. They have some guys that can play different positions. You know,
Yeah, I would say we
we
have the
we have
best
it
depth we have ever had on the offensive line.
right because I mean, like, so backup guards now you have Lucas Patrick and what's his face?
Ford.
Yeah, Ford. You have Ford, and you have Rivers, who looked like he could play a little bit of guard. So you got Rivers and Ford that can play guard, tackle. You got one extra guard. So I feel depth. It's just something about the way they run their offense. They throw so much that I feel like it really tests the depth of the offensive line. So it's almost like with that style of offense, you just need to plan on having 8 or 9 offensive linemen that are going to play.
Plus, I like what they did with the people that they brought back on their practice squad at offensive tackle.
Yeah.
And actually, I think they may have released one of them already. But I think Coker, he had a pretty good preseason. So I think if you really look at it, especially if you know some of your other players are hurt on the 53, I think they bring up one of those tackles from the practice squad. And if you need,
I don't see the problem with the practice squad is that like anybody can take off your practice squad, right?
yeah, but they're most likely not going to.
Well, but like if you've got a guy, like say you've got a guy on your practice squad that you feel could play tackle. I mean, you can't be the only team in the NFL that realize that that guy can play tackle, so they're gonna snag him.
Yeah, but I'm talking more of like in a swing tackle type situation where you just need somebody playing a pinch.
I think the rule is that you have to. Is it that you have to? It must not be that you have to start them, but you have to put them on your active roster. So you can't like take somebody from someone else's practice squad and put them on yours. You gotta put them on the active roster, but like.
No, I'm talking about our practice squad people.
Yeah, but like so, like say someone gets hurt at I don't know any random position. Say we need a linebacker, right? We can take someone from somebody else's practice squad, grab them, and then put them in the 53-man roster. And now that guy's on your team. So, like with that, I mean, tackle, offensive tackle is such an important position that like it doesn't make me comfortable that we've got a guy that we think can play tackle, because if he can, chances are he's going to end up on a 53-man roster sooner.
I don't think so. I think the reason why he's kind of like a fringe player is that maybe he's just only a tackle. And I think if you're only just going to be a tackle in the NFL, then you have to be a starter, right? To whereas like if you're a backup, you have to be able to play tackle, guard, sometimes center.
Yeah,
and I think maybe that's his problem.
Like once you get a few months into the season, there's going to be attrition, and like, you know, there are only so many tackles in the world. Somebody's going to.
Yeah, but then I think too, other teams are in similar situations where they have their own players that they're willing to bring up and put in versus like pulling a guy from a whole different system. You know, like I think they would rather go with their own guys.
But I'm just saying that I think it's hard. It's not. I think it's not possible to hide someone who's good at a tackle position on your practice squad. Someone will find them and take them.
Yeah, I don't think he's good enough to be like a full-time starter, but I think he's good enough to be like a swing tackle in certain situations. Yeah. I guess my point is saying like, because like I would think that Coker is probably a better tackle than Ford, right? So if Ford or someone gets hurt and Ford has to slide up as a guard, then you could do that, and then you could just bring up Coker or someone like Coker from the practice squad, and then they could be the swing tackle just in a pinch. Is what I'm saying, because they have that flexibility with the practice squad. Because you know, for a while there, they were keeping 10 offensive linemen, but I think starting last year they've only been keeping 9 on the active roster. And what I noticed is that if you're not the starters, if you're like the 4 backing up, then you have to have versatility. Otherwise, it's like not really worth keeping if you can only play one position. And that's probably why they had 10 for a while, is because they were holding on to Jackson Carman for probably too long. that was probably his problem, was that he could basically only play tackle.
No, I don't think that was his problem.
Well, one of
his
many
problem
problems.
was that he's just didn't fulfill the potential that the Bengals saw in him as a second-round pick.
Right. Yeah. Not even close.
So I mean, that's what gets you.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited. Reisner makes a big difference. It just really adds to that depth. And no, it makes me feel a lot better because if someone goes down at the guard position, it's like you don't even lose anything. Because like Patrick, Reisner, and I would even put I guess Rivers in there too. I feel like they're all at the same level when it comes to the pass protection. Now, obviously, Risner is probably the best at it, but you're not having that steep drop off like we had before when someone got hurt, and you're having to put in like, oh my gosh,
Right. Or said
some of the
another
people we had to
way,
put in
you
before
feel like Rivers is
came Adeniji.
better than what they were trying to do in previous seasons. Like
Yeah,
a few years ago, Rivers might have been the best option on the team, and
And-
now he's the third or fourth option,
and
which is way better than before.
and he may be the future starter in the long run because like from what I could tell, he looked pretty solid. It was almost to the point where it's like,
Yeah,
Maybe you should play him
the
now,
idea
but-
of having just like big dudes playing guard. Like the Bengals seem to be developing a philosophy that they want really big offensive linemen, and like that's a trend that if it exists, I like the idea of the Bengals being we're an organization where we want our guards to be like 6'7" and our tackles to be 6'8".
yeah, no, I'm down with it too. I'm tired of seeing them get blown back
Right,
into
I'm
the
tired
backfield.
of like the small tiny guards and tiny tackles.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to add before going into the season?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to watch.
Yeah, me too.
Feel good
Can't wait.
about it.
So, I guess are we gonna have a show before the game and then after the game, or how do you want to do it?
Before the game and after the game. I mean, we can. It's up to you.
All right. Well, if we meet before, I guess we'll have to do it on Saturday. If that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, I guess we'll see everyone on Saturday and then right after the game.
Trying to hold still.
A little bit longer.